Everyone, my name is David. Thank you for watching today. It's Q&A Monday, where I'm answering everyone's questions from last Monday, the last Q&A video. Any questions you guys have today, please go down in the comment section. Ask me anything you want. I'll ask them next Monday in the next Q&A. All I ask you guys is please give me your locations. Please tell us where you are from. I appreciate that. So, to get started, I like to recommend something every week, and it can be anything from people and their work or things you can take, supplements, stuff like this. This week I found something pretty cool that was, somebody else got me looking for this, and I found this, and I've done a little looking into this to make sure that this product seems good, and I believe I found the best one. So, something that I've talked about before is a hormone called oxytocin. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's called the love hormone. And I made a video about oxytocin, and I like to always recommend this playlist for you guys. Even if you don't think you have CPTSD, my video playlist about CPTSD should help all of you if you suffered from emotional abuse, trauma, things like this. Something I recommend is to build up your oxytocin yourself. Oxytocin is something that becomes very depleted in adults as they get older. It's associated with women giving birth, and as women get older, they kind of don't need it really as much anymore. Is kind of what the body, I think, thinks, and it's depleted. Just like many hormones in adults, they kind of go down as we get older. Oxytocin is something that I believe most adults are very low in. And emotional abuse and trauma will make us very depleted from this. And the thing that I always encourage the most recovering from emotional abuse is to socialize and have people and support in your life. And the worst thing to do is isolate. And it's what we all want to tend to do. We want to isolate. And that just makes everything so much worse. I mean, really, you can actually get worse from that instead of healing or recovering. Oxytocin will help with things like trust, anxiety, focus, and that's extremely important in helping us socialize again and going out and making our relationships stronger with people. One natural way to raise oxytocin that I suggested in my video is with human contact, specifically looking in eyes and talking, touching, hugging, kissing, saying I love you, giving gifts, stuff like this. This raises oxytocin, and it really helps us trust again. And I'm not trying to encourage that people get involved in intimate relationships right away or again, and that's not even what I'm suggesting. I'm saying that we just need to get outside. We need to not think that the world is a horrible, bad place where filled with people that don't care about you and stuff like this, okay? Because of our bad experience. So, and that's what happens. That's after effects. So, what I found was Oxytocin nasal spray by a brand called OxyPure, and it's real oxytocin with real results. I believe I found the best product, the best deal, and it's a nasal spray. I don't know how all of you feel about that, but I think it's a good way to absorb it. About the product, what they're saying, it's GS1 certified, real oxytocin for real results, not a homeopathic accelerator like every other brand, but a real oxytocin nasal spray, and that's what I found. Everything else was just accelerators, and it wasn't oxytocin. Fresh batches made daily, 2 ounces, 15 IU per spray, professional dose, keep refrigerated when not in use. Oxytocin has been known to help with social fears, anxiety, stress, limiting food cravings. Also known for its role in helping with autism and Asperger's. Better sex life, reduced stress, more energy and focus, decreased anxiety. I'm telling you, man, if this stuff's real oxytocin, which it claims, and I found this on Amazon, then it's gonna help people. Now, I strongly recommend, like everything you take, especially hormones, consult a doctor first, okay? And most doctors are going to tell you why you need that. You don't need that. Don't take it. That's not a good idea. Because hormones people react differently to hormones. And hormones, higher amounts of hormones it makes us more susceptible to disease. So doctors don't like to give it recommended, stuff like this. But make sure there's no reason that you can't have higher levels of oxytocin in your body. It's something that you have already, but you're depleted in. And hormones, just as too much is not good, too low cannot be good. And too low of oxytocin is not good. And I guarantee if you're isolating and suffering from emotional trauma, you're very low in oxytocin, as most adults are. So that was my recommendation. I'll put a link down in the description box that'll take you to Amazon, which I always recommend, don't I? If you're interested in trying that, and I'd love to hear people's reaction, results. Thanks. So let's get started with the questions. First one is from Shell in Chicago. Hello. David, could you talk about the parenting style of an untreated BPD father? Well, I don't know if there's a particular style, but, and personality disorders are spectrum, right? So every person diagnosed with borderline personality disorder is not going to be the same. As they get older, BPD deals so much with emotion, hormones, and a lot of times as we get older, naturally, emotion might be easier to regulate with old age. Hormones go down. But what I see in a lot of untreated borderlines that this doesn't happen to, they can also get worse. And they could be closer to psychosis. And untreated borderline men tend to have extreme rage. So you're talking violence in the household, which is eggshells, traumatic, shaky, scared all the time, right? Pitting against each other, children, always blaming and accusing and not taking any responsibility, stuff like this, right? And then you have the behaviors, right? Maybe he goes out and gambles, has sex, dates all the time, maybe does drugs, drinks, who knows? Instability, maybe you move a lot, maybe he quits jobs, has financial problems, maybe none of those. It's a spectrum. Too hard to say. I don't think that there's an actual style. I think it's just toxic. I think that if there's abuse, there's abuse. And but one thing for sure that the untreated, disordered people cannot do is provide their emotional needs to their children, because they most likely aren't even giving it to themselves. They don't know how, so you can't teach something you don't know. Hope that makes sense. I don't know how else to answer that. Please ask me more if you need to. Thanks. Fit Mama, California. Hello. My question is, do you plan on a conference in the future? You have made such an impact on awareness of narcissist relationships. Thanks in advance, David. Thank you. And, I don't like to talk too much about what I want to do or what I'm going to do until I'm ready to do it, but you're asking me, and I've always had plans in the future to give conferences or lectures, speeches, something like that, and maybe next year, I would like to travel to a few big cities and do something like that. So, I don't know, but I'll definitely let you guys know on this channel for sure, and thank you for asking. Mary from Don't Know. Why would I be able to fight breast cancer for 11 years, lose my husband, be a widow for 7 years, and I'm having such a hard time dealing and getting over being in a relationship for 4 years with a narcissist? I'm glad you beat your cancer. Good. I hope that made you stronger, right? Knowing, here's the worst in life, and I did it. I survived it. I beat it. Maybe this is the worst. You're asking why, right? So, emotional parts of our life. Try to think of our lives as in different groups, right? because that's the way our brain works. Our brain doesn't control everything we do. Or I should say, there isn't a specific part of one specific part of our brain that controls all of our behaviors, actions, thoughts. No, we have different parts of our brain that controls different thoughts, actions, behaviors. We have a part of our brain that focuses on and controls the actions in our emotional life. We also have a different part of our brain that controls work life, day-to-day life, things like this. Obviously, fighting cancer is emotional, sure. But it doesn't have to do with our emotional relationships, so to speak. So often people will tell me after they've been abused emotionally, they'll say, I just don't get it. I was so strong my whole life until I met this person and I was so weak. Why? You know, I wouldn't take crap from anybody. Stand up for myself, stand up for other people. But then I got in this relationship and this person walked all over me and I let him why. So it's because we have, you know, that's the emotional part of our life. And hopefully it doesn't, you know, if we have problems in it, hopefully it doesn't affect the rest of our life. But it can, you know, bad enough, it starts seeping into other areas of our life, you know. So in the beginning of our lives, the emotional part of our life, even though not fixed, maybe not healthy, maybe we don't have all the tools and haven't learned everything and give ourselves what we need, we're going to be okay maybe in our 20s. We can have a relationship, and even if it was bad, it may not be as bad as it is in our 30s or 40s, or especially 50s. It gets worse. It's like an untreated illness, just gets worse and worse. So this is the emotional part of your life that obviously needed to be fixed for a long time. And this would be this is the end of the road. This is where the car broke down. You know, think of the car that's you know, not firing on all pistons, right? Still gets you to work for a month, 6 months maybe. Eventually, it's going to break down. And that's the way your brain is. So our emotional part of our life, let's just say these two, emotional and daily work, stuff like that, even though they're separate, right? And this could be failing, and we could still go to our daily life and accomplish, be even successful maybe, until the emotional part of our life absolutely fails. And then the whole engine fails. The whole thing does. It seeps directly into the rest of our life. And that's usually when, you know, it's over and people need help, finally asking for help. Hope that makes sense. And I'm glad you're asking stuff like that. Keep asking if it doesn't make sense. Hi, David KP from Australia. Hello. I've been in 3 relationships with ClusterBe women. 4 if you count my mother. Yes, I do. And you said that's where it all started. Yes. I wanted to get your views on their typical chosen vocations and how they go about them. None of the 3 ever brought any work home, read reference material to up their skills on latest work trends. Attended any classes or even tried to improve qualifications. Work just seemed clock on, off venture, and they would always talk about how they don't make enough money, but would not research, plan, subsequently implement. So why do they not get what they want without doing the work? Entitlement, right? Personality disorders, the big problem is awareness. That's it. And that's everybody's problem, really, right? Isn't it? To some degree. Where's your awareness? Oh, I didn't know that was going on. Hey, you weren't aware of it. Now you are. You know, disordered people lack awareness. Big time, big time, big time, big time. And they aren't aware of a lot of these things. I got to work for what I want. They weren't taught that. Maybe always given everything they wanted. You know, try to think of it that way. Behaviors they do in adulthood, especially disordered behaviors, toxic, don't work, things like this, they were taught this in childhood. Disorders, you know, that's when it happens. It's a developmental problem. So why do they disordered, toxic, unhealthy people do what they do? It's what they learn to do at some point in their childhood, adolescence, stuff like this. They did it one time. You know, I always say the way the brain works is if we could walk when we're born, right? We take our first step with our right foot. We're always going to take right steps for a while, maybe forever. Because it's real simple, stay alive. That's all our brain cares about. So if I took a right step, I'm alive. Why would I take a left step? Right step works. Take another right step, right step, right step. So, entitlement issues. I deserve it without working for it, right? I want that. How much does that cost? $100. I have 20. I want that. I'm sorry, you don't have enough money. It costs $100. So I want it. It's like you need to go make $100, work for it, get $100, and pay for it. Entitlement. So they don't believe they have to go work for it. They get you to pay for it. I'm entitled to it. I have no problem asking for it because I'm entitled to it. That's why we have problems asking for help. We don't have entitlement issues, right? The people that ask me for help and demand it and say, I'm not going to pay you, and that's entitlement issues, right? Hope that makes sense. Ask me again if it doesn't. Ruben. Don't know where you're from, Ruben. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Please tell me your locations, guys. Thank you for all your videos. You have helped me so much. You are so welcome. I have to say, I have a lot of anger, not just at the narc, but at myself for falling for the lies. This narc killed my dog on purpose and robbed from me. I feel broken. And I'm so sorry. Killed your dog. That animals always get to me. Killed your dog on purpose. You feel broken. I'm sorry, Ruben. I'm very sorry. Very sorry. Get help, okay? If you're struggling with things that you can't do, ask for some help from somebody who knows how. Seriously, do it. I'm glad you're asking me questions. Good. Keep learning. But you guys, we need help. We need support. We need people. I've talked a lot about how to get rid of shame and guilt, right? And it's a process, and I know how to, and it works, okay? And it's a process, takes a little while. But one other thing you can do that is amazing for guilt and shame is have lots of friends, right? Lots of attachments, relationships with good, positive, healthy people. It rids shame and guilt. And it's something we need to do anyways. We have to. We have to. People have caused this. People have done this. People can help you with this. Mary asks, and I don't know where you're from, Mary, are all narcs violent? And anytime I hear all, no. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to say yes, right? All narcs are like, I know every narcissist in the world, and I know what they all do. Right? You know, violence, I was just talking about violence. There's emotional violence. So that's a good question, right? Emotional violence. I believe most narcissists are emotionally violent. And that could be causing fear and intimidation, things like this, fear, emotional fear, right? How much emotional fear do you have in a relationship with a narcissist? Man, geez, every one of us. But when you say all, real simple, real easy. No. Thanks. Lindsay. Or Lindsay. Sorry, I don't know how you say it. Lindsay. Lindsay from France. You make so much sense. Thanks. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. I believe my ex-narcissist, or no, you're not from France. This is fiance. I don't know where you're from. I believe my ex-narcissist fiance is also a narcissist. Is that possible for two narcissists to be together? Also, is it possible for all the stages to keep repeating in the same relationship over and over again? Well, that's what it is, over and over again. Lack of awareness means that we keep repeating mistakes, right? And what's a real proof of lack of awareness that you're making mistakes is you blame other people. You'll never fix a mistake you make if you blame other people, because then it's not your mistake anymore, right? Like the saying, you made me feel this way. Well, I don't think people really control others' emotions. You reacted that way. You don't have to. Not everyone would. I feel this way when I'm around you. I feel this way when you say this. I feel this way when you do this. I feel this way when you hurt me. But you make me feel this way, I don't think is good, proper way to word it. So to that, why is it over and over again? They are pathological, right? You see patterns, right? What is that? Insanity is wanting a different outcome, but doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome, right? You can call that insanity, or you could call it personality disorder, but they're both right next to each other. No longer in control of their behaviors is typical for personality disorder, right? If someone told me I have no more control over what I do and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, not good. But not being able to see it is why we repeat it. Think of a hole in the sidewalk that we fall into, right? If you can't see it, you're going to keep falling in it. That's the only way that you won't keep falling in the same damn hole you fall into all the time. You don't see it, right? Awareness, consciousness. One key to life, right, is try to be more conscious of your subconscious. Try to be aware of things you're not aware of. Try to broaden your awareness, consciousness, okay? By learning, by making mistakes. Just not the same ones. Is it possible for two narcissists to be together? Anything's possible. Why not? It's possible for them to be married, have children, and die together. Sure. We're talking unhealthy, emotionally unhealthy, disordered, underdeveloped. These people don't have a wide variety of people to choose from in the first place. So just like a drug addict dates other drug addicts, a lot of unhealthy people date unhealthy people. Where does that put us? Right? I made a video called It Takes Two to Tango, I think is what I called it, about two narcissists together. What's it going to be like? Well, try to understand that that's what narcissists, narcissists are in the physical world only. They care and put importance on physical things. So maybe looks, not always. Could be something else, could be status, could be money, right? It's not emotional. They don't care who you are. They care what you provide, okay? They aren't interested to get to know you. That's why emotional connection never happens, or it stops soon. Because they're no longer interested in who you are, how you feel, what you're thinking. Shut up, right? What is it? Don't demand and don't disappoint. That's it. You want to be with a narcissist? Don't demand anything. Don't disappoint them. Hope that makes sense. Julia. Or no, I'm sorry. This is a message to Julia, but I wanted to read it. From K. Guten Photography. Julia, much love and support. These books really helped me get through the pain. Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft and Psychopath Free. I hope that helps. Again, the books were Why Does He Do That? And Psychopath Free by Lundy Bancroft. Also try advocacy centers for women in your area. They usually have free groups, therapy, basic support services. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for adding that. You guys, you need help. Help, get help. People just keep telling me I can't afford it. There is free help. Look for it. Look for it. Invest in your recovery, right? So instead of me just telling you where it is, go find it. Take the time and the work, and that's investing in your recovery. Do you see that? Good luck. There is free help out there, guys. Hi, David. Julia from India again. Hello, Julia. Thank you for helping me out with your replies. You are so welcome. Can you please help me understand these questions that are rolling in my mind for so long? I will try. Is it possible that a narcissist can leave the person they claim to love purely for new supply and then blame their partner for cheating and flirting around, saying that they were responsible for pushing them to this new person? Yes, emotional irresponsibility. I feel this way, and it's your fault. I feel this way, and you need to do something about it. Not me. I'm not responsible for my feelings at all. I'm not responsible for my emotions. I'm not responsible for what my body does. My body's doing this. Who did that to me? Could you imagine? Is it possible that despite giving them proof in the form of telephone calls with the people that they accused you of cheating with, that they still won't believe that you did nothing wrong in the relationship? Sure. I don't know if I understand that totally, but anything's possible. I hope you're not trying so hard to make people believe the truth, which is that you did nothing wrong in the relationship. I think I'm confused about that one, Julia. I'm sorry. What is the real reason they so strongly accuse us, even when we are doing everything to prove our innocence and save the relationship? So that is what you're doing, Julia. You're doing everything you can to prove your innocence to the person that was standing right there. Right? Stop, Julia. Stop. Stop. Please. Go get this validation somewhere else, not from him if he's not giving it. Stop. You're losing yourself. You're compromising who you are. You're getting abused. Stop. Stop, Julia. Please. What's really going on in their minds, David? Not much. Not much. Please, and I mean that. They're not processing emotion. They're not taking accountability or responsibility. They aren't willing to do anything right, correct, healthy. Not much going on in their minds. It's just emotion, fear, need, want, fear and desire. Fear and desire, right? Oh, Julia, I'm so sorry. Julia, please get help. Please. Any help. Get your family there for you, your friends there for you, professional help there for you to process what is going on, to process what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Lots and lots of cognitive dissonance. I'm making another video with Nova tomorrow. It's coming out. It's been 3-4 weeks. We've had some technical difficulties, but we should have one out tomorrow. It's on cognitive dissonance. Please watch it, Julia. If cognitive dissonance is this bad, we need help. We need someone to help you unravel all the lies. You're not seeing clearly. You're not understanding. And you're looking for answers from your abuser. That's not easy. That's not hard to see that he's abusing you. I'm so sorry, Julia. What is the real reason they accuse you? Because they cannot take responsibility for what they do if it's bad, because they have so much shame. In other words, they believe, and I don't care if they're a narcissist. I don't care if you guys think, no, they don't think that about themselves. Yes, they do. If they're narcissists, these are where the people go that have the absolute worst self-esteem issues, self-worth. He hates himself and thinks he's the worst piece of crap in the world. Amazing how his fears come to fruition. They can't take responsibility. They can't be vulnerable. They can't open up and say, look who I am. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to know that, Julia. They can't face it themselves. They're hurting. That's why he's hurting you. He's hurting. Okay? Stay away from him. He's nothing more than an animal in a trap that will bite anyone that comes near him. I'm sorry, Julie. You have another question. I'm sorry, but I have another question. I contacted the woman who my ex-narc said he was involved with. How does it feel? If it didn't feel good, don't do it again. But she was rather angered when she heard that saying that they were just friends and that she would... So he was saying that they're just friends. He was telling you and you told her. Is it possible, David, that he made up stories about the two of them saying that he had a physical relationship with her and that she had no boundaries? Yes, it's possible. Anything's possible. Yes, he made it up. Yes. And it's triangulation that he's talking about this other woman with you in the first place. Julia, you don't have a relationship with this person anymore. He's seeing someone else. It's over. Okay? So we need to concentrate and understand what's happened up until this point, and we need to stop interaction with your abuser. Okay, Julia? You're playing with fire and you're all burned. Get out of the fire. Stop this. The only way to stop it is to get away from it, Julia. You're not going to make it any better. By contacting him, by thinking up of a plan,